No answer. Sal usually fished until midnight, so his absence didn't alarm her. She considered flipping on the light, but investigating the noise that woke her held much less appeal than the soft down pillow and the warm flannel sheets tucked under her chin. Maggie removed her glasses, returned them to the nightstand, and went back to sleep. The sound of the front door opening roused her some time later. "Sal?" She listened to the footfalls below her, the wooden floors creaking, first in the hallway and then into the kitchen. "Sal!" Louder this time. After 35 years of marriage, her husband's ears were just two of many body parts that seemed to be petering out on him. Maggie had talked to him about getting a hearing aid, but whenever she brought up the topic, he smiled broadly and pretended not to hear her, and they both wound up giggling. Funny when they were in the same room. Not funny when they were on different floors and Maggie needed his attention. "Sal!" No answer. Maggie considered banging on the floor and wondered what the point would be. She knew the man downstairs was Sal. Who else could it be? Right? Their lake house was the last one on Gold Star Road, and their nearest neighbors, the Kinsells, resided over half a mile down the shore and had left for the season. Their solitude was one of the reasons the Mortons bought this property. Unless she went to town to shop, Maggie would often go days without seeing another human being, not counting her husband. The thought of someone else being in their home was ridiculous. Reassured by that thought, Maggie closed her eyes. She opened them a moment later, when the sound of the microwave carried up the stairs. Then came the muffled machine-gun report of popcorn popping. Sal shouldn't be eating at this hour. The doctor had warned him about that and how it aggravated his acid reflux disease, which in turn aggravated Maggie with his constant tossing and turning all night. She sighed, annoyed, and sat up in bed. "Sal! The doctor said no late-night snacks!" No answer. Maggie wondered if Sal indeed had a hearing problem, or if he simply used that as an excuse for not listening to her. This time she did swing a foot off the bed and stomp on the floor 3 times with her heel. She waited for his response. Got none. Maggie did it again and followed it up with yelling, "Sal!" as loud as she could. 10 seconds passed. 10 more. Then she heard the downstairs toilet flush. Anger coursed through Maggie. Her husband had obviously heard her and was ignoring her. That wasn't like Sal at all. Then, almost like a blush, a wave of doubt overtook her. What if the person downstairs wasn't Sal? It has to be, she told herself. She hadn't heard any boats coming up to the dock or cars pulling onto their property. Besides, Maggie was a city girl, born and raised in Chicago. 20-some years in the North Woods hadn't broken her of the habit of locking doors before going to sleep. The anger returned. Sal was deliberately ignoring her. When he came upstairs, she was going to give him a lecture to end all lectures. Or perhaps she'd ignore him for a while. Turnabout was fair play. Comforted by the thought, she closed her eyes. The familiar sound of Sal's outboard motor drifted in through the window, getting closer. That Evan Rood was older than Sal was. Why he didn't buy a newer, faster motor was beyond her understanding. One of the reasons she hated going out on the lake with him was because it stalled all the time and... Maggie jackknifed to a sitting position, panic spiking through her body. If Sal is still out on the boat, then who is in the house? She fumbled for her glasses, then picked up the phone next to her clock. No dial tone. She pressed buttons, but the phone just wouldn't work. Maggie's breath became shallow, almost a pant. Sal's boat drew closer, but he was still several minutes away from docking. And even when he got home, what then? Sal was an old man. What could he do against an intruder? She held her breath, trying to listen to noises from downstairs. Maggie did hear something, but the sound wasn't coming from the lower level. It was coming from the hallway right outside her bedroom. The sound of someone chewing popcorn. Maggie wondered what she should do. Say something? Maybe this was all some sort of mistake, some confused tourist who had walked into the wrong house. Or perhaps this was a robber, looking for money or drugs. Give him what he wanted and he'd leave. No need for anyone to get hurt. Who's there?